My mouth is a little dry. Hi. I don't know if the machine's going to be annoying today. I have I'm on a drip uh, to get enough potassium in my system. Um, so it's running right here, very close to the computer. Um, I don't think it's going to be a problem because it doesn't seem to be a problem when I look at the audio. But who knows? Maybe you'll just hear the machine and not me. It would be terrible, but I don't think this is going to be that way. All right. So my health situation. Um, right now, I'm feeling pretty well. Uh, my energy levels are low, but that's to be expected. And they vary throughout the day. Sometimes I have more energy, and sometimes I have less. Um, what I learned today, well, I still have diarrhea, and that was concerning the nurses quite a bit. Um, Somebody's bugging me on my phone. Give me a second. Okay. Um, so excuse me about that. So yeah, I still had diarrhea, and the nurses were worried about it. Um, to the point that this morning I had a spat with one of my nurses. She was basically accusing me of hiding my shit from her. Some stupid nonsense. Um, I discovered since at first it was it was disappointing. I was thinking you know it's purely a an output problem, but there's also an input problem, and the input problem is that I just don't eat, and the reason that I don't eat is the chemo they gave me more than I when I had the methotrexate chemo in the fall. The chemo for the stem cell therapy that he gave me, it messes up my sense of taste. So for instance, a very good example. My wife yesterday, she thought she was doing something nice. She went to Au Bon Pain, which is pronounced Au Bon Pain, not anything else. I think some people sometimes like Au Bon Pain. It's Au Bon Pain. So she went to Au Bon Pain and ordered something, ordered a sandwich that I already had ordered way back when I came here to get my blood filtered. And at that time, I hadn't had chemo yet. So when I had my blood filter, she ordered a sandwich then, and yesterday she ordered it again, the same sandwich. And when I ate it 2, 3 weeks ago, I thought it was delicious. I had half of it for lunch and I kept half of it for supper. Yesterday, it felt like eating chalk. This was pretty damn awful. And that's the chemo doing this. And it's what to the point that yesterday I ate maybe 1/5 of the sandwich, put it aside. Then I thought, well, I'm going to have the rest for supper. I didn't have anything for supper. I just went to bed and that's it. So the problem was not only output, that my body was pushing out too much, well, not necessarily pushing it. Well, yeah, it was pushing out too much potassium in my diarrhea. It was also using too much potassium, but also the input was not coming in. Um, so today I've been a little bit more systematic about the way I eat, and what I've done is I've decided that for breakfast I'm gonna take what they bring me and eat it, and just eat that, and that's gonna be the end of it. For lunch and supper, though, I'm on Ensure right now. And the inshore, it's not the magic. It doesn't taste wonderful. It tastes okay, but at least I'm having trouble with my saliva. Uh, at least when I take the inshore, I can just drink it, and it might take half an hour or an hour to drink it, but I get it all in my body and I get nutrition. Whereas with the sandwich, it's like I take a bite and I think, oh, this is awful. Even something that I loved 2, 3 weeks ago, I think it's complete shit today. Um, and that just doesn't work. So I now I'm on Ensure for meals. I've also moved on to this is Pedialyte in here. I was thinking about Gatorade at first, but they have Pedialyte on the floor here, so I've asked them for I think it's Fruit Punch Pedialyte, and it's the same thing. It's not super exciting, um, but it's tolerable, and also since it has uh, electrolytes in it, it's good for me. Um, and today I had my medication adjusted. We're giving me prednisone to try to slow down my immune system. I have a condition, and I'm not sure. I'm not going to go into the big details of how the condition is called or designed or whatever. But I have a condition under which my immune system is in a little bit of overdrive, and what we want to do is slow it down. So they gave me prednisone to slow it down a little bit, and I'm not going to get the stimulant tonight because the growth hormone stimulant that to push stem cells out of my blood. I've been having it since I think 3 days after my day zero. They've been giving it to me every night, but tonight I'm not getting it because my my counts are too good, or they're good enough. Uh, and I don't want to that if they give it to me, it would exacerbate my condition right now. So we're hoping that by doing that, we might calm down my system. I might stop having liquid diarrhea every so often. And right now, it seems like it's working. Um, and if that's successful, that brings me closer to being able to go home. Right now, my goal is ready to go home. I don't want to stay here anymore. The stuff is nice. There's no big problem, but I just want to be home. Uh, Whoops, trying to find my notes. All right, so that's my current health condition. Another thing I should mention on the topic of cancer, chemo, and sex. I've been talking about finding ways for me and my wife, and for anybody, any couple, anywhere. If we're disabled, how do we show affection for each other? Deep physical affection, not just kissing each other, but more than that, like sex. And the traditional model sometimes doesn't work when you're too disabled. Um, so I've been trying to figure out a way to redefine our sexual life uh, more with a different direction. But it's funny because I would say that like 2 nights ago, my wife and I had sex in my room, and it's not the traditional guy goes at it sex that you might imagine. My wife was just it was a hard day. It had been one of those days. If you have cancer, There are most days can be okay, and most days are fine, and you're going to continue to function like you did before. But some days are, I don't know, crying days, where it's like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and you just, anything can make you cry. And it was one of those days. And my wife, I was crying in bed, and there's nothing much you can do when somebody is in that mood to try to cheer them up. But she decided to try to start, just caressing my legs. And, there was no expectation on my part about where this would go. I guess there was no expectation in her mind or where it would go. Um, but I say if you can have sex without having sex, that's probably as close to it as we got, because there was a pleasure response in my legs, and there was kind of a peak and everything. It's like it was like a leg orgasm. I don't know how to call it, but yeah, uh, you know. So we had sex. That's how I like to call it. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know how it came about, but I don't know if my body's changing. Maybe it's adapting to the situation I'm in, and uh, providing more venues for pleasure. Uh, but yeah, that's what happened. I thought I should all let you know that things like that can happen. Um, all right, I've added to YouTube a new section called theme songs, and I got two theme songs in there right now. The first theme song is "My Silver Lining" by First Aid Kit, and this is really my Silver Lining is really the theme song of my chemo. They sing and they say, you got to keep on keeping on. The chemo is really like that. Not only, I mean, the chemo that I had in the fall is like that, and this chemo is also like that. This is what we have to do as patients: is keep on keeping on. Sometimes people, they come to me and they say, "Oh, you're so brave." I, I don't know what the alternative is to what I'm doing. I, this is it. I have cancer. What am I going to do? Punch the walls? Um, you know, kick my heels? I just, you know, I guess some people don't take it very well. And I guess in a different situation, I might not take it very well. But the way I see it is you just got to keep on keeping on. And that's what I've done with the chemo in the fall and in the spring that I had earlier to put me in remission. And that's what I'm doing with the stem cell transplant. I just keep on keeping on. And I'm going to come out of it at some point. Um, and I've added recently also another song to those theme songs. So My Silver Lining is really the theme song of my chemo. But there are songs that I encounter sometimes that have uh, uh, some aspects of those songs kind of gel with the chemo or something. And the other song that I've put on is Georgie de Cappadocia by, I think his name is George Benjour. Um, and that's a prayer to Saint George. I have to tell you, I don't know which George they're talking. I don't know in the song which George they're talking about. For a lot of us, when we think about Saint George, we think about Saint George going against the dragon. And of course, for people with cancer, Saint George goes against the dragon that is cancer. But I don't know really what they were saying which Saint George I was thinking about. I did look it up online, and there are multiple theories about which Saint George they were talking about, but I don't care. I'll let the historians fight it out amongst themselves. As far as I'm concerned, it's a prayer to Saint George, which is not really. It's a little bit bizarre because the person who's praying is saying, Saint George is in his company, his armed company, and I'm happy to be with him. I'm happy to wear his clothes and his arms, and then it goes on. I have enemies, but they cannot touch me. That are going to try to throw shoot at me with arrows, but the arrows are not going to get to me, and so on and so forth. So it's not really a prayer like directed, but it's like somebody in the midst of battle. And that's a song that I've known since I was a teenager. It's been with me all my life, and it resonates with me in the cancer. Like, I don't have to be afraid because I have Saint George on my side, and he's gonna kick the dragon's ass. And in time, I might add other songs. Those were the My Silver Lining was right when I created the list. I thought My Silver Lining has to go on there. Then I thought, oh yeah, I could put Georgie de Cappadocia on there. And I'm going to, as I go along, I might find more songs. There were songs I had heard too recently that I thought would be good theme songs, but I don't remember what they were, unfortunately. Um, yeah, and I have a couple of rants to make tonight. I don't know if I've explained my reasoning why I dropped Twitch. Actually, there was a discussion online because I'm a moderator on Stand Up to Cancer, which is very much involved with streaming and Twitch, and I said, well, this moderator doesn't want to support Twitch anymore. Is that the problem? And then people assured me it wasn't a problem. Um, we don't even have to stream if you don't want to. We're just managing the server. Um, so I'm not going to go on a campaign against Twitch, but I think Twitch is not healthy in general. Um, I've been on it, and what I've seen through the messaging and everything, it's a system that I ran away from a long time ago in my corporate career. I ran away from that uh, kind of uh, how do you say it? The hamster wheel mentality of always going forward by unit rate going forward. You're just spinning your wheel. And I left that world a long time ago, and now I'm in a more fortunate situation of not having to worry about that in the corporate world. And I was looking at that and thinking, I'm doing it as a hobby. Why am I doing this? This is a hobby. And so that was my first realization. The second thing was that at some point I went and clicked on somebody's feed, and this person had been streaming for a long, long time. And I was there, and the number of viewers were one. That person has been streaming for a long time. They go live, and there's one viewer, which is me. what's going on there. And there's also the problem of Twitch being very quick to delete your videos. I think in 2 weeks there's not going to be anything left of me there. Except the pages I created are static, but the videos are going to be gone. If you're in the best situation with them, and this is all I'm saying, all of this under, maybe I'm misremembering, but my recollection is that if you're in the best of conditions with them, they're going to keep your video for 60 days. If you're a peon like me, and they want you to know that you're a peon, it's going to be 15 days. And at first I started playing the game, trying to increase the time that they would keep my stuff. And then that's the last week or whatever, I decided I wouldn't play that game anymore. Do you want to call me a peon? Go ahead. You want to tell me fuck you? Well, fuck you right back. I don't like Twitch. I didn't like it before I used it. I thought the interface was more or less shit. It's not a site that I like to use. But now it's just completely off the list. I don't plan to ever stream to Twitch again, ever again, not in my life. And the reason for this is mainly because they delete videos. And everything I've done that I've streamed, I streamed to Twitch and YouTube. YouTube is going to archive my videos. And this is the value of my videos, that they're going to be archived for the future, not only for me, but for other people that are going to come later and may want to think about, should I get a stem cell transplant? Look at my videos. You're going to know how it is. It can't get any better than this. I wish I had this technology when I was undergoing treatment for my transplant. Unfortunately, I didn't think about live streaming. The technology was there, but I just was not in the mindset to do it. Because this is about as, the only way to be closer would be to have a thing here 24 hours a day, which the nurse wouldn't like. And, that records everything, every little bowel movement. And I'm not saying that being particularly doable, but other than that, this is the closest you have to someone just being able to tell you, this is how it is. This is how your stem cell transplant may turn out. This is how it's going to be. And YouTube is just going to keep it on forever. And that's what I was looking at. I was looking at YouTube. I was looking at Twitch. Twitch is the ephemeral. YouTube is long-term value. 1 year from, it can be months. Like in 2 weeks, my videos are not going to be on Twitch anymore. What the fuck is that? At the end of the summer, someone wants to see my videos, they're going to have to go to YouTube anyway. Next year, they're going to have to go to YouTube. The year after, they're going to have to go to YouTube. So why should I bother with Twitch? And I was looking at the guy with the one viewer, which was me. It's like, there's no value in this. And more broadly, when I was thinking about who do I listen to, where are they? They're not on Twitch. They're all on YouTube. I've never subscribed. I did subscribe to Twitch. The reason I have a Twitch account is that there's a lady on the MS server that she decided to live stream her Ocrevus infusion one day, and I said, "Oh, I could look at that." So that's the only reason I have a Twitch account. As far as creators go and people, they're all on YouTube. So why am I going to pursue Twitch? So that's my first rant, that I think Twitch is crap and I don't want to use it anymore. And it's not going to affect you, except the three of you that were following me on Twitch. Well, sorry, but the rest of you are not affected by this. And the second rant is it's for the cancer patients. it affects cancer patients. My second rant is cancer patients that go online and ask questions that they should be asking their oncology team. And it's a very complex problem, but there are multiple parts to the problem. Sometimes people are going to ask questions like, what side effects should I be experiencing during chemo? And the answer to that is, unfortunately, we can give you a list, but we can't check on the list to tell you you're going to experience this and that. There are very rare exceptions. Hair loss for a stem cell transplant, you probably will experience it, and I'm currently experiencing it. I don't know how my face is quite exactly, but I know I take when I take the hand towel off my body when I take a shower, I'm losing hair, so I'm gonna turn into a baby. There are some side effects that some people can tell you you're pretty much always going to experience. Other than that, it depends how well your team is attuned to your problems, what you tell them. Sometimes people don't want to say that they messed the bed, or I don't know. So some people don't want to talk. So your team cannot do anything if you don't talk to them. So there are things like that which are not terrible, but are not great either. But the main problem for me is when you have somebody who goes on YouTube, on Reddit, and then they ask things like, can I vape while I'm on chemo? My doctors would tell you, no, don't vape. And I think most doctors would tell you, don't vape while you're on chemo. And then I'm going to say, yeah, you can vape and, use your stuff, whatever. So when I see questions of that type, vaping, CBD, and stuff like that, it's like, ask your oncologist. What it looks to me a lot of times, those questions is, you're trying to get the internet to absolve you from doing something your oncologist told you not to do. If your oncologist tells you don't smoke, don't vape, don't use cannabis product while you're on chemo, then don't do it. I don't care if your uncle did it and it felt great. He may not have told you the whole story. Just follow what your oncology team tells you. I use CBD, but I told my oncologist, and I was pretty pissed. I mean, at that time, I was pretty adamant about it. I said, I'm going to use CBD. I am going to use it. What I want is your blessing, just not to be against it, because I need CBD to sleep. I'm going to use CBD to sleep. Is that okay with you? And there was a little bit of grumbling, but he said yes. What I didn't do is go to the internet and say, hey, is CBD okay? And I know I'm not getting CBD at the hospital for whatever nonsense reasons, which is okay because they give me Ativan instead. But when I'm going to go back home, I'm going to go back on CBD for sleep. And that's going to be that. So as always, my advice to people undergoing chemo, people have oncologists and teams, is try to get on the same page with them as soon as possible. If we find that there's a problem, find someone else. And I'm kind of the poster boy for that. There was a problem with my first diagnosis, which was MS, which was completely wrong. And I did get a second opinion for that, which was, this is not MS. We don't know what it is, but it's not MS. And that probably saved my life. And then when I went for the stem cell transplant, they were going to send me on Johns Hopkins because I had the chemo that put me in remission was at Johns Hopkins. So, you do the chemo there, then obviously you just stay there for the stem cell transplant. But I discovered very early that the head of the stem cell unit there was a jerk, and I really mean a jerk. And I mean a jerk that would put his entire engineering staff under the bus to save his secretary. It's that kind of jerk. He was arguing with a software engineer. I don't think he remembered that I was a software engineer, but fucking idiot. So I discovered that he was a jerk, and because of that, I decided that I would not have my cell transplant there. And I would have it at UUMC instead. So I've been through it. I've been through getting second opinions. I've been through changing teams just because the team lead was an idiot. If you want to vape or do whatever when you're in chemo and you know that there's good science behind it and somehow your team doesn't want to do it, find another team. Find another team. Just don't go do it by yourself and just whatever. Because there are going to be times where this attitude is going to bite you in the ass. I can use this with the chemo. There's no problem. And then there's an interaction. Whoops. And there's an interaction and nobody knew you were doing this, and oops. And it takes 10 times as long to figure it out because you didn't tell them. So yeah, if you don't like what your team is telling you, find another team and find a team that you're going to be able to work with, which is what I did for the stem cell transplant. I came to UMMC, talked to Dr. Yared, and I told him, dude, it's going to be CBD or nothing. And he said, okay. You're not going to get into the hospital, but at home it's fine. And it's improved my sleep. The only thing I messed up with that transition is that I should not have got enough the sleeping pill I was on cold turkey. The few days after I went off of it were a little bit rough. And in retrospect, I think the problem was that I just got off of it cold turkey, and that was not a good idea. And that's another thing I would say you should discuss with your doctor. From experience, I've been humbled. I can tell you, if you want to go off of psychotropic medication, you should talk to your psychiatrist first instead of just going to CBD cold turkey. In my defense, I will say that I was pretty damn frustrated at that point, but it doesn't absolve me of all mistakes. Let's see, is there someone in chat? I don't see anyone in chat. With this being said, I will remind you that all of my streams are fundraisers, and this is Timmy, and his glasses are askew. And he's still wearing, the shoe and the boxers because no more donations have been made. So we're still looking for donations. And I was thinking about it recently. I was thinking, I have family watching this. I have friends watching this. And sometimes that's like, we'd so much like to help you, but you're in another country. How can we help you? Exchanging money, it's complicated. This is the easiest way to help me. The donation link is in the chat. You can also use this one. this finger. The QR code in the corner to give money. Uh, Really, this is the easiest thing you can do, and that I wish. Um, and the fundraiser, I don't remember how long I've put it on in the settings. I think it's probably until the end of July, but at some point the fundraiser is going to close down, and if I didn't reach my goal, then I'm a failure. So if you don't know me and you feel like it, you can. I think they're going to take $5 from you at the exchange if you want to give $5. I don't care. Uh, but family and friends who would so much like to help me, this is it. This is your chance. Uh, so with this, I think I'm going to end it here tonight. Uh, as usual, I wish you good health. I wish you not to be in the situation I am, and I hope you do all right for yourself. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you. I don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but soon. Bye.